Hello folks, and welcome back to Aldea. In this episode, Aldea's wealthy are taking to the waves. I'm building out a marina in Ophelia Point. The Ophelia Point Marina, though, isn't just boat storage for the well-to-do. It will also include a public boardwalk and a very special landmark look-off. There will be something for everyone on the waterfront, so let's get started. I think I'm going to start. Marina should have breakwater. Inner harbor on a lake inland, you might not need a breakwater. You could just have your marina out there, but the ferry is going to create some wake, so I think we'll put the breakwater in because of the proximity of the ferry terminal. And I think this will be somewhat challenging. So we're going to start by putting in a path. So I'd like to have the breakwater something that you could walk out onto as well. The ferry pretty much comes out straight, so if we do something like this. So maybe just something like that. This is what we're looking for. I think this one specifically. Okay, let's try again. When I tried to invert it, it errored out. This time, I think we'll be okay. You know what? I'm just gonna create that now. Or we'll slide it into place. Oh, apparently we made more than one. Oh, there's always something with this game, isn't there? I might turn the speed up. I think our lake is all churned up right now. Yeah. Oh, it's tried to crest the road. Okay, I think we're... I think the churn is over. So, and now we'll put one on the inner side. It's the same procedure, except we're going to go the other way now. We'll have to adjust that. There's just a little bit of a gap. And it needs to be lowered down too, of course. Okay, that's pretty good. That actually looks quite good. And the wonders of modding. So I want to put something out here on the end, even if it's just kind of a lookout. And since this stuff is all floating, or, touching the bottom, I think I will actually have to construct a little island because I don't think there's any floating asset that I can use that would actually draw people and make it so that people will actually walk up this pathway. Like I'm thinking like even just a float around, hang around marker out here on the end. So I'm gonna try and raise the terrain up out here. let's grab the level of this. It's pretty dumb. But I'm not going to give up on it just yet. I guess I have to create a park district. It's going to be a little complicated because I want to take in the shoreline. But we need the pedestrian path to still function. I think we've done it. Area must have a main gate. Okay. For now, I'm just going to run this down and join them up. Because I want to see if I can make this actually work. We'll figure out pretty later. So we could do that. And then surround it with stuff. Apparently wants power. Could use the boats. Bring power out there for now. Alright, so next, it's time to ring the island with breakwaters. Okay. Oh, look. It works. Someone's going out. Out to the boardwalk. Nice. Now if I can just kind of hide all the silliness I had to do to make this work. Here's someone else. Okay, all the nodes are up at the right height, so now we just have to move them around in here and get them into a spot where they cover up as much as possible of the weirdness. These guys actually need to be lower. Okay. Now, what can we do to make it look not so weird inside? I think this is a job for a surface network. This is another one of those times where it's like, well, pays to be stingy with your nodes, because every now and then you'll end up with some crazy project like this one. So I'm going to try and take that concrete path and slope it up. There. Oh, enough of that. Trying to get something to work that's just not going to work. Okay. Now I need to put some kind of texture down to hide the gravel and mud that this is all sitting on. I think I'll try greening up the sides here. Oh, now that's gonna work. I think these cypress-like trees would fit this almost Roman-like setting. On second thought, I think that grass is a little too wild for this kind of formal place. Ooh, this grass decal. There's just that little hint of detail. I really like how that looks. Well, that took a lot. But there you go. Ay, ay, ay. But it works. People walked out to it. It doesn't look like it's just a bunch of floating things. I would call that success. All right, with the breakwater in, I think the next thing to do to try and sort this out will be to put down the docks, at least along this side, because we've got a nice hard edge on this side with Havel Avenue, whereas this we can modify, so we can kind of place this, and that will probably guide what will make sense over here. So I downloaded these a while back. They're a great dock set. I'm just envisioning running these parallel to the road along this side at a lower elevation. Looks like these need to come in just a little. Probably this last one I'll have to make into a procedural object to get it to fit properly. There. We'll have to do something over here too, but I want to have a pedestrian connection down so that, folks can walk down on the boardwalk instead of up here along the road if they want to. This is going to require some mucking around. Very precise fitting. The difference between chaos and not is quite something. I don't love that it creates a rock piece, but I don't know what else I can. I could land it short, I suppose. But even then, I still have the challenge of how do I connect it. I know what we'll do. We'll make a little square in this area. I'm going to leave this like this for now, but I don't know that I'm actually going to run this all the way out to there. I'm thinking I'll probably turn them into procedural objects so I can shorten them up. And this is a for now solution. That feels okay. Smooth landing. That's maybe a little steep. I suppose I could try and zigzag this. I've had great fun with that in the past. I'll save this and try a zigzag. Well, that's horrible. That's not bad. I think I can work with this. I can put in some retaining walls. Probably pave this ground down there. Close up the dangerous portal to another dimension. There. Now I just have to complete one along here and block that in. This is all entirely doable, not at all frustrating. Okay, let's get on with it. Next one. Painfully slow. I'm going to upgrade the path to no pillars. I've been thinking that I should be using no pillars default for everything. And when I want a pillar, I should just put it in, because I can put it in and make it a procedural object, and then it counts nothing towards my building limit. Get rid of all that kind of paving in there that we don't want. Along with that one. Right, that's actually, that's working pretty good. We're garden in there. So I just need a retaining wall that runs along there. And some of you might be wondering, hey, why don't you just use the intersection marking tool? There's a problem that I have not been able to solve that maybe somebody else out there will have an answer for. But if you do a retaining wall in the intersection marking tool in here, let me actually draw the line. So we want to do a decorative network, and I suppose it doesn't really matter. I'm just doing this for demonstration, but I'll go find the ones that I like. There we go. That's the one I use a lot. So let's say we're doing this one. Obviously that's not going to work, but in theory the intersection marking tool has tools to take care of that and make this very easy to do. Dive it down. And so there our job would be made easy. Except here's the thing. So that looks great. Looks great. As you zoom out, once the LOD, there it is. See, it pops out, and once you know that that's happening, you can't unsee it. So this is why I can't use the intersection marking tool, because I can't figure out how to make it, like, once it gets out to distance, it's like it forgets that it's actually minus 18.1 into the ground. So if anybody out there has any idea how to stop that, that would be much appreciated. It would greatly cut down on the amount of time I have to spend on these custom kind of sections. Since I don't have a solution for that right now, it's back to the drawing it manually. That's fine. This section here should not be too hard. I've become more and more proficient with time about pulling out the nodes. Raise the street a little bit. Actually, it's easier than messing more with that. That's pretty good. Now we just need to get rid of this, fix this fencing up here. I missed something. I missed this corner. There. I love procedural objects. That filled that gap. And we can garden it. And that's just fantastic. For the longest time I was afraid to get into procedural objects. It seemed like really intimidating. And initially it kind of is. But man, the results are very much worth the effort. Ooh, whoop. Let's put a standout landmark tree. That's the kind of tree that everyone would recognize and know when it blooms coming along that road. Don't put anything on around its base in the planter. There! This ended up being... Oh, I guess I still have to... I can't call it finished yet. I still have to go over here and fix this. Now I'm gonna go ultra detail. Oh, that's madness, isn't it? Moving those extra few inches. I'll never look at that again, but I'll know it's correct. This might feed a section of my personality where I'm maybe a little obsessive. Ah, it's too perfect. All right. I'm going to declare that a success. That is a thing of beauty. Right there. We got retaining walls. You don't see any nonsense. It's a proper switchback. The only thing I wish I could do better with, well, actually maybe I can. It'd be nice if this was boardwalk right up to the edge. I wonder if our friend procedural objects could help yet again. There. Now if I turn this into a procedural object, what can I do with it? Well, I'm not going to need those. Get rid of those vertices. In here though, can I move these out? Also, slope them down. So I can get it like that. Now if I turn the next one in to a procedural object and move its vertices at the back just up, just a little nudge. Well, looky there. I think that's as good as we're gonna get. Which, don't get me wrong, is plenty good. I'm happy with that, and I will make this silliness go away. And maybe we'll see what we have for planters. We could probably do something like that in here to make it look like this was intentional. Some architect's fever dream. There, it's a little contorted, but once we put some plants in it, you won't even see that. That's pretty good. Time to get back to the docks. Though I'm thinking of some rocks along this wall. And this section is go find the smaller versions. Oh, here's a smaller version of literally the same rock. Okay, I need the piers. These are the ones that I believe I've paired with this previously. So I think our next thing will be to stretch the dock along this beachy shore to connect over to the breakwater. This is what I wanted it to turn into a procedural object, so I can modify the end. I think that's okay. It makes me think of two sets of planks meeting at an angle now. Alright. This is looking like a proper marina. I'm going to put in some of the big boats along here, because I want to see how it looks once I have them in, because I'm torn between putting another set of little docks or putting another larger dock out here. That would be a spot for the larger ships. So I'm gonna put some boats in the water here. If I can find out where they're all stashed. The mega rich. How they spend their time. Or at least their money. I had a friend whose brother was spent a summer just bobbing around the Mediterranean as a chef, and the owners hardly ever showed up, but the crew was just there on standby for if they had the whim. I think that's good. And you know what? I think I will do a long pier here, so that we have another section for the large ones. As long as I'm doing boats, let's go put some of the little ones in too. Jeez, that's grubby. Oh, it's a garbage boat. I'm gonna put in a key. See, I learned to say the word. That'll have a little bit more of a utility sort of function. Alright, let's shift these guys into place. Oops, I copied two of them. Ooh. There we go. I'm gonna wait for the pier before I'll probably be able to add one more on this one, but I think I should wait just till I see what it all looks like here. But that is definitely looking like a marina. Okay, the narrow one's perfect because we can pair two of them next to each other. I'm gonna pause this because because I'm over the water, my mouse pointer keeps bobbing. Nice. And so on this side, we'll have some mega yachts. On this side, I think, you know what, we could continue the small marina, the small boat area over here. That's pretty good. So big yachts, some more little boats, and I think we've used our space pretty efficiently. I'm going to muck around a little in procedural objects. I've figured out here, these are all buildings, so I can save on my building limit by converting them all. So now they're procedural objects and they don't count, and it lets me then also make some modifications here. Now they're gone, and this thing is right in the way. We'll get rid of it. Now we'll go do the same thing over here at the front. There. I do want to put a proper end on this one that's consistent with the fenders. I did take one of these in procedural objects earlier and reduced it down to just the pillars, removed the deck on top. So I'm keeping this as spare parts basically. So when it's copied, it remembers, hey, you took all that stuff off, although I probably should have taken off these guys. That's fine though. So we're just gonna slide this in to position and then delete off everything we don't need so that we've got a nice end to the wharf. This looks intimidating, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not so bad actually. There. That works. The weird part I've just banished to the bottom of the lake. Okay, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but we have an end on the dock that matches the style. Now time to fill in the last of the boats. That's a pretty good marina. Okay, this is coming along really well, but clearly to do all the upland and shore work and such, that's going to take another episode. There's two things I still want to finish up here so I can have the main marina area done. I want to put a breakwater off of there, and I want to make the docks functional. I downloaded some invisible paths, and so I'm going to try and get those into place so that the docks can actually be something that people walk along. When I say downloaded, because the invisible pathway I did not have an elevated option. This one apparently does. Knowing what height to put it at is another thing, though, entirely. And I'm clearly going to end up having to mess with that when I'm done here. Unless I don't actually connect it. But then will people be able to make the jump from one to the other? Sometimes they can. Let's try it this way first. They're all upset they're in the water. So that all joins together. But how do I know what height the nodes are at? I haven't used these before, so I'm not sure entirely what I'm doing. It's at a height of 20 apparently. What about this one? I know this one is actually where we want it approximately. So 24. So they're all convinced they're flooding. Oh, I used this. I'm an idiot. I used the forced ground. I gotta turn this up and see if I catch anyone walking. If it's actually going to be attractive. You're not supposed to do that. Well, they'll use it. And now he's going... So clearly I have some work to do sorting out this path. I need a test subject. Okay, so 20 is way too low. 25. Too high. 22. So we're getting close. 24.5. That's almost perfect. 24.3. We'll try that over here on this node. See how she does. Our test subject. It was walking perfectly down the wharf. 24.3. So now I'm going to set all the nodes of the invisible path to 24.3. Okay, let's see. Although I wish they would use that instead of walking along here and then teleporting over. That really wasn't what we had in mind. I wonder if they're teleporting because there's a node there. If I eliminate that node, will that stop them? No, it's not a node. I don't know why they're doing that, but on the category of smaller winds, there she goes, just walking down the wharf. Someone with a bike. Oh, that makes me happy. So much so that I'll momentarily forget about their favorite teleporting spot. Alright, I made a few changes off camera, mainly just a lot of little minor fiddling around. And the big thing I managed is I forgot that I hadn't connected these nodes, so no one was able to actually go up this ramp. And as you can see, by this woman and her dog, they actually now use this, which is just beautiful. Couldn't be more happy about that. That all that effort to build the thing, it's not just functional. There is still one little flaw with it, as this gentleman's probably going to show us. Yep. They don't teleport up to the street anymore. They do finish walking this walk, but they do teleport from this point down to there. And I think that's just something I have to live with. City Skyline is an imperfect game. But that's wonderful that actually now happens. I did some minor detailing. I put in lights around. Some bushes along the top here. Benches, garbage cans. Oh, there's someone teleporting. See, they still do go up there sometimes. I think he'll probably flip into a car maybe. Whatever the reason. Yeah, there he goes. So they do still teleport there, but some of them do actually walk the whole wharf. And I think that's as good as I'm going to get. So I did some minor detailing. The bushes along the top here look great. I like having the benches and the garbage cans and the lights. It looks like a proper waterfront. And I also linked a path down this stretch, going all the way out to the end to go as an alternative route to go to the lookout. And let's see, is anyone coming along? I'll just give it a second here because I'm very pleased with this part. Oh, here she goes. They use the stairs. I think that is so great. It's sometimes the little things. I had to put a little node here at the foot of the stairs and another node at the top of the stairs and set to they're invisible, of course, set to the right distances to make that work. And then bend the path so that they bend here and then walk out and follow the main route down the wharf. But I'm so happy that that actually functions. And I also put in this. It's a key with a boat ramp because we need someplace where the boats can actually launch. And so that'll be a future episode challenge of how would you drive down to launch a boat from this? So I'm going to have to figure that out somehow. But I've got that in and put on this little park fence using the intersection marking tool along the top of the breakwater. So everything's, oh, and it is lit up for the night. I think that's really good. I'm very happy with our little marina here. I still have one thing to do before I can call this a wrap. I'm going to do the upland kind of whatever I'm going to do with this kind of shore area. I'll do that as part of a future episode where I figure out all my park shoreline. But I still need to do something off the end here. I think I want to continue a breakwater out this way to maybe about there. Nothing as elaborate as this side, but just a very utilitarian breakwater. And it would be nice to have a little bit of a park draw on this side. So I was thinking of using one of the game gazebos in this spot. Now it's hiding under the ground right now, but we can bring it up. I'll have to use, it's brought up the sea with it, or the lake. There, and now I can do Bob, and I can get rid of the bushes. So the game default bushes are gone. So then there's a little bit of a draw on this side. I suppose I should put the path over to it. So there's the other one. So we just need to do this and lift that node. So now this should draw some people to come down and visit it, but we should probably we'll get more people walking along the boardwalk to come over to here as well, and vice versa, going back the other direction. So it should increase that kind of just really nice to see people walking along there. I also made this small little tweak with procedural objects. I lowered all these wharves down so that I think the height that I've got this at works really well for the larger boats, but for the smaller boats, when they were up against that, there was a big drop. So I kind of like this setup. And this asset, it was well set up to be able to tweak with the Procedural Objects mod to create this little slanted piece to lean down into it. So now these are nicely very close to lake level, which I think is much better. You don't have to struggle so much to get in and out of your boat, because not everyone can afford one of these monsters. Anyway, let's finish up this episode with the breakwater over here. We'll do a similar design as we did on the other side, where I'll run a square one out here and then out and along, and we'll have the smooth side on the other side of it. So we'll start right here. So the one over here is looking pretty close to level with where we want to be. Oh, lots of people teleporting down now that they got to draw over here. I can't fix it all. There's only so much you can do with what the tools that Colossal Order gave us. So I'm going to grab the other nodes. In theory, I think I can do this by set object height and click on this one. Woo! Well, that's awesome. Now it's time to put the curved breakwater in front of the square one. There we go, we're back in business. Every now and then my computer gets rather upset. Alright, we're not going to be able to finalize this until it's down at the right height. Evidently that's the right height, and the other one has to probably come up, I guess. I could leave it like that. And so the other question is, do I want to leave this one with like this kind of lip? I mean, we're not doing a walkway out to there. Missed this one. The other approach is to go high and try and totally eliminate. Basically. Maybe something in between like that. Not quite as high as it was before, but got a little bit of shore from the gazebo showing through. Put some sort of light on the end. This looks unique. Want to have something out here for anyone coming in at night. Let them know this is the end of the breakwater. That would definitely do the trick. A little bit of a standout piece, actually. A little bit of pizzazz on that. Let's go back to daytime. I always play at like 11 o'clock. But yeah, I think that works. Yes, I think that's a wrap. I think we'll deal with the kind of upland and the rest of the Ophelia Point shoreline in a future episode. This marina is certainly enough to fill one. So we'll close it here. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any feedback, you can leave that in the comment section. I do read everything. And we'll close out with a cinematic. Thank you so much.